After graduating college, I landed my dream job in a new city. Eager to start this chapter, I found an affordable 2-bedroom apartment and a roommate named Mark through a reputable housing website. Mark was a quiet, introverted individual who worked in IT. He kept to himself, often retreating to his room after work. Our interactions were cordial but minimal, which suited me fine as I adjusted to my new routine. A few weeks into our arrangement, I began noticing odd occurrences. Personal items seemed slightly out of place. My toothbrush moved drawers not as I left them. Initially, I dismissed these as my own forgetfulness. However, the unsettling feeling of being watched grew stronger, especially during late-night hours. I would catch glimpses of shadows in my peripheral vision and hear faint creaks outside my bedroom door. One evening, returning home earlier than usual, I found Mark in the living room, a rare occurrence. He appeared startled, quickly shutting his laptop as I entered. An awkward silence ensued before he mumbled a greeting and retreated to his room. Curiosity piqued, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. Late one night, I was jolted awake by a soft rustling sound. Heart pounding, I strained to listen, convincing myself it was just the building settling. But the noise persisted, seeming to emanate from beneath my bed. Summoning courage, I grabbed my phone for light and peered under the bed. To my horror, I locked eyes with Mark, lying there with a blank expression. Paralyzed with fear, I demanded an explanation. Mark crawled out, avoiding eye contact, and muttered about sleepwalking. His demeanor was unsettlingly calm, as if this intrusion was normal. Unable to process the situation, I retreated to the bathroom, locking the door and staying there until dawn. The following day, I confronted Mark, insisting he move out immediately. He offered a half-hearted apology, claiming he had no recollection of the event. Unwilling to risk further incidents, I contacted the landlord and arranged for Mark's departure. Despite changing the locks and installing security measures, the sense of violation lingered. Nights were sleepless, every creak and shadow feeding my paranoia. Even after moving to a new apartment, the trauma still haunts me. Starting college was a thrilling experience, and I was fortunate to room with Lisa, a friend from high school. We found a cozy off-campus apartment and settled into our new lives. Lisa soon introduced me to Tom, a charismatic individual she met in one of her classes. Tom quickly became a regular presence in our apartment, often staying overnight. At first, Tom's visits were unremarkable. However, I began noticing strange occurrences coinciding with his stays. Objects would be inexplicably moved, and I'd hear faint whispers when I was alone. One night, I awoke to find my bedroom door open, despite always closing it before bed. A cold draft seemed to come from the hallway, sending chills down my spine. Discussing these incidents with Lisa yielded no answers. She dismissed them as stress-induced hallucinations. However, the disturbances escalated. I experienced vivid nightmares of a shadowy figure standing at the foot of my bed, watching me with hollow eyes. Waking up drenched in sweat, I could still feel the lingering presence. Determined to uncover the truth, I researched the apartment's history and discovered a chilling fact. A previous tenant had died under mysterious circumstances, and Tom bore an uncanny resemblance to him. Confronting Lisa, I learned she had been experiencing similar disturbances, but was too frightened to acknowledge them. One evening, as Tom was over, I mustered the courage to confront him about the eerie happenings. His demeanor shifted, eyes darkening as he confessed to dabbling in occult practices, inadvertently summoning a malevolent spirit now attached to him. The air grew heavy, and an oppressive force filled the room. Suddenly, Lisa's body contorted, and she began speaking in a voice not her own, revealing the spirit had possessed her. In a desperate bid to save Lisa, I contacted a local spiritual advisor renowned for handling such cases. The advisor performed a harrowing exorcism, during which Lisa convulsed violently, the entity resisting expulsion. After hours of intense struggle, the spirit was finally banished, leaving Lisa physically and emotionally drained. Tom disappeared without a trace, leaving behind an aura of dread. Lisa and I moved out immediately, but the experience left indelible scars. We both attended therapy to cope with the trauma. After a rough breakup, I decided to start over and found a nice old house for rent in a quiet neighborhood. The rent was cheap, and the landlord, Mr. Thompson, seemed really eager to rent it out. I moved in quickly and met Ben, the guy renting the basement unit. Ben was friendly and even helped me carry boxes, which made the move easier. While exploring the house, I noticed something odd in the hallway. There was a faint line on the wall, like the outline of a door. I told Ben about it, but he brushed it off, saying the house was old and full of quirks. But I couldn't stop thinking about it. One evening, I decided to take a closer look. I pushed against the wall, and to my surprise, it opened. Behind it was a small, dark staircase leading down. I grabbed a flashlight and went down, finding a dusty little room. The walls were covered in weird symbols, and the air smelled musty. In the middle of the room was a small table with some strange objects: a rusty knife, an old necklace, and a faded photo of a serious-looking family. Something about the room felt wrong. That night, I had the most vivid nightmares. I saw shadowy figures whispering in some language I didn't understand. I woke up in a sweat, but it didn't stop there. Over the next few days, strange things kept happening. I'd hear whispers when no one was around, and I'd feel like someone was watching me. Items in my room were moved, and the atmosphere in the house felt heavier every day. I told Ben about it, but he said I was just stressed out from the move and maybe still upset about the breakup. He didn't seem worried, but his calmness made me more suspicious. I decided to dig into the history of the house. I found out that a family who used to live there was rumored to have been involved in some kind of dark rituals. That hidden room must have been where they practiced them. One stormy night, the strange events hit a peak. The lights flickered, doors slammed shut on their own, and I heard Ben shouting from the hidden room. Panicked, I ran down the stairs to find him standing in the middle of the room. He wasn't moving, and his eyes looked blank, like he wasn't really there. The symbols on the walls seemed to glow faintly, and the air felt thick, like something evil was in the room with us. As I stepped closer, Ben suddenly lunged at me with a rusty knife from the table. His face twisted into a creepy grin, I fought him off, managing to knock the knife out of his hand. My mind raced as I grabbed the necklace from the table. I remembered something I read about breaking curses and started repeating a simple prayer, hoping it would help. The room began to shake, and a horrible roar filled the air. A shadowy figure appeared, its glowing eyes full of anger. I kept repeating the words, louder and louder, until the shadow let out a deafening scream and disappeared into a puff of black smoke. Ben collapsed to the floor, unconscious. The air felt normal again, like the darkness had left. When Ben woke up, he didn't remember anything. He was horrified when I told him what happened. We agreed we couldn't stay in that house any longer. We packed up our stuff that same night and told Mr. Thompson we were moving out. Even after leaving, I couldn't shake the feeling that the house still had something dark inside it. The experience left me scared of old houses, and I still have nightmares about that shadowy figure. Sometimes I wonder if it's truly gone, or if it's waiting for someone else to open that hidden door.